Hey, yo, what's poppin', everybody? It's the No Level Cap podcast. We back once again with the crew, talking about all the anime, all the gaming, all the nerd culture, none of the bullshit. This time, you might notice we're actually doing this live, which is a bit of a switch up from the norm. Before we get into why, I want y'all to give me a minute to introduce my incredible co-host. We've got the collector of collectors, the master of Twitch, Will Coleman. What's going on, Will?
Nothing much, my guy. Just been catching up on a little bit of anime here and there, some new shows, watching an older show currently. Just been kind of working all week, and I got some more.
Mm,
Oh,
I've been on that Super
Tactica
Mario
Super RPG.
RPG. Man, it's so nice. That
I
shit
got it
taking
in. I
me
can't
right
wait
back
to
to fifth grade.
start it. I can't wait to get it started too.
Next up, we've got the living cartoon, the man with the golden voice, Rakeem Beck. What's going on, Rakeem?
Hey, another day, another dollar. I'm here today. This week, I didn't do too much of, not too much because I just came back from vacation after Thanksgiving with my family. Had a good time with my family. Came back. I've been gaming a little bit. I got that Destiny itch again. I just felt like throwing magic and shooting people in the
I got
face. So I've been
ointment for
playing.
that.
Yeah, they do. But I don't need it right now. Give me about 2 more weeks, then I'll probably need that ointment. But yeah, I've been playing that and just I caught up on my Netflix shows. Blue Eyed Samurai. I think that show is really good. Had a lot of twists and turns, great action, great story, but very dark. It's a show for people who are into some dark stories. It's not a happy sing song story, but it has a great cast, great action. I think it's a great show. If you've not checked out Blue Eye Samurai on Netflix, I highly recommend it right now. Yeah, that's what I've
Okay.
been watching now.
All right. Next up, we've got One Punch Man and the Master of Combos, Mr. Devin Butts. What's going on, Devin?
Pretty good, man. Been playing a lot of Lies of P. I think I'm not gonna say near completion, but I'm a good ways into the game, loving it. Just like I'm loving the game like knew I would when I first saw it, and I'm just so glad that the game is actually a game that you want, that you hype for to come out, and it's actually good. Been enjoying that. Actually went back and beat the true ending for Sea of Stars this week too. So I ran hands with the actual big bad boss of the game. So yeah, that been doing that. Watching Invincible, and that's pretty much it, man.
Of course, I am Sage Ashford, the man who won't shut up. Man, y'all know I really had. I've been trying to get back into Trails in the Reverie. This is basically the last one before the new one that's not out yet in America, and I've been alternating that with Super Mario RPG. Got kind of swamped with work, so I didn't get a chance to do as much as I would have wanted to. Tomorrow, I'll probably get into some anime and probably check out the new Doctor Who. So I'm gonna do that. And other than that, just living it up. If you didn't know, of course, No Level Cap goes live every Monday morning. Normally we're on YouTube for video fans. If you prefer the audio version, we're on Spotify. But let's talk for a second. We live right now. The Game Awards are. What's up?
Real quick, Sage. I don't know if anybody else knows it. It ain't gonna take that long. I think you're on your other mic. That's what a quick switch over. I was like, you don't sound as crisp as you normally do. So you got the crisp mic over there, man.
Yeah, we got to swap over to the Chris.
There you go.
Better?
Yeah, that's the mic sponsored by KFC right there, or Popeyes, which is
Mike sponsored by Crispy Chicken.
Crispy,
At this rate,
crunchy
you might
chicken.
get one of those. They might sponsor a goddamn mic stand, a PC. Didn't they have a game? Didn't KFC have a game console?
Yep.
They did.
Popeyes got to respond, man. They got to come out with their own PC.
They just do the mic, but like the boom mic is like a drumstick.
Chicken leg.
Drumstick. Oh my god. Now look, you'll never see me with one of those. I'm not gonna lie to you. No.
Nah.
But if you want to test it out, hell no. I don't want it nowhere near me. But anyway, the Game Awards are nearly upon us, and we wanted to get that one last all-important episode out before the show on Thursday. Of course, the last all-important episode, our predictions. We're doing things a little differently than usual. As you might notice, the secret weapon of No Level Cap, Terrence Flowers, is out taking care of business. So we thought we'd switch it up, give y'all a live episode. It helps make things a little easier on us, but also it makes things it makes us a little sharper for when we do our live reactions to the Game Awards. Of course, just like last year, we'll be here on YouTube just ahead of the show around 6:45 standard time. What's up, Terrence? Devin, you catch that?
Yes, I just saw. I had my notepad over it. It was covering it up. It was going on. Hold up.
Yeah. This is normally something that the secret weapon himself would have helped us. I mean, like we figured out. We doing it live.
The thing is, Sage has a mic sponsored by KOC. Mine sponsored by Hot Cheetos. So
Hot Cheetos. Yours might be sponsored by Churches.
That's spicy, Mike.
But yeah, I mean,
it's got steroids.
While he fixes that, oh wow, that's very good. While he fixes that, I'll go ahead and run down the rest of the info that y'all need. Just like last year, we'll be here on YouTube just ahead of the show at around 6:45 Central Standard Time. Come hang out with us, watch the reveals, get mad because your favorite game didn't win an award, and just have a great time with us. You know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm pretty excited, and I'm gonna tell y'all why I'm excited. It's not specifically for the predictions, but more just the vibe of what the vibe of the show should be. We'll get into that in a little bit later. For now, let's just go ahead and get into the predictions. We'll do 3 rounds of predictions. However, if anyone in the live chat has a prediction and I see it, we'll talk about it. I will make fun of you if it's dumb. If you come in here and you predict something stupid, I'm gonna be like, get your dumb ass out here with that bullshit. Cut out that bullshit. I'm gonna let you know. But other than that, I mean, like I'm down to explain why something I think might be there, why something might not be. But anyway, let's get it popping, man. Will, you up, man? What's your first prediction?
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way because I'm sick and tired of waiting.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yep, sick and tired of being sick and tired. Hollow Knight Silk Song.
I knew that was gonna be your first one.
Hollow Knight Silk Song. I need to see something else. I better see something definitive. I need it. You're wasting my time. You're wasting all the Hollow Knight fans' time. Please show me something. I know you pushed it back and you said, "Oh, it's coming." You sound like somebody that owes some money right now. You keep telling me it's coming and I ain't seeing it. Show me my game.
$20, I promise.
Don't break their legs, Will.
I'm breaking more than legs. I'm breaking everything. Exactly. That's what I'm here for. Hollow Knight Silk Song. I want to see it. It better be there. That's what I want.
I don't know if it'll be there or not, but it is time. That was a game that, if you'll remember, was at Microsoft Showcase 2 years ago when they had that big showcase and they promised that everything you see here will be here in the next 12 months. I believe it was there, and it missed those 12 months. You know, it missed the 12-month time span from June 2022 to June 2023. And then people were like, well, maybe it's been pushed out of 2020, of early first half. And it's like, yeah, no shit. And then, like, it's been nowhere to be found. They haven't talked about it. They haven't hyped it up. I don't know what the approach is going to be for that going forward. Like, I can only imagine. The Game Awards isn't a bad place for that, though. So, I mean, like, I can certainly see it. I don't pick up the vibe that it's going to be there, but I also wouldn't be surprised. So, Devin, what's your first one, man?
Let's see. My little list that. So for my first one, this is actually, we got like a little sneak peek. I think it was like 2022. I want to see something on Kingdom Hearts 4, man. I think maybe this time we could see a little extra on that. Because they gave us something, what was it, April of 2022?
It's a good while ago, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it was a good while ago.
It's been a little while, and I feel like it's just kind of been ghost for a little bit. And I know Square, like they were trying to get FF16 out of the way and stuff like that. But I think now that they've gotten this main game out of the way, and we got FF7 Rebirth coming out very early this coming year, I think it's time to show some on Kingdom Hearts, man. You know,
this is interesting because I don't think like Kingdom Hearts is not coming out next year. So we can clear that. Let's just go ahead and clear the air on that one. It's not coming out next year. But I do think that game is their big tentpole traditional console / PC game for 2025. Like next year is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's day, year to shine. And like you won't see like of course it's Square. They always have like a shit ton of games, smaller games and stuff like that. Although they said in their one of their financial reports, they was like, look, we're going to cut a little bit of that out. We've been doing too much of it, which
Not
is true.
surprised by that.
Me and Rakeem, we talked about that 2 years ago when they put out like 13 games or 14 games inside of a year. It's like, hey,
yeah, they put out a ton.
Like, I know you got an audience square, but it's not that big. And some of those games were kind of lackluster, probably because they didn't get the budget and then the time to, get the polish that they deserve. So I can very much see next year having Kingdom Hearts. I mean, not next year. Next year is going to be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, probably another Team Asano game. I'm going to guess Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D. And then 2025 will be Kingdom Hearts 4. But it is towards the end of this year, and so you could, because it's not really crossing the streams. Like, there's a rumor that they're making a not a rumor, like it was in that leak that they were doing a Final Fantasy IX remake. That you won't hear anything about this year until after 7 Rebirth is out. You're just not gonna hear that because they don't want to mix the message. Like, everybody should be the goal is like, hey, focus on this. But like Kingdom Hearts, that's a different franchise, different audience, kind of, sort of. And so it's very possible that they're just like, hey, man.
I just want to see something else on it. Just give us like another look. Because they gave us kind of a... Go ahead, King.
Oh, I was about to say, kind of following off of what you guys were saying, I thought about this, and I just wanted to say positively for Square Enix, aren't you guys so happy we're out of that development hell phase they were in the decade previously? Remember how long we waited for Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 15? It seems like now that like they definitely got their production on a better system.
They put their head down, and then the more important thing they did is they got rid of Crystal Tools, or is it Crystal Engine?
It was Luminous Engine, wasn't it?
Well, that was one too. Basically, what I'm saying is they switched to, and you're right, I think the Luminous Engine was the last one they were working on. Yeah. They switched to Unreal, and since then it's just been like, hey man, we just putting games out. Let's just get our games out. I think Kingdom Hearts, I imagine that they just showed off Kingdom Hearts 4 early because they wanted to like let you know, like, hey, this is in the works. But as far as like the next time you see it, I imagine it'll be like a short time from like the second time you see it to like when it comes out, maybe 18 months at max. So I'll go next. Dragon Age Dreadwolf. When I said this for Summer Game Fest, I believe, that was more like wishful thinking. It was kind of like, because I know how EA kind of gets down. They like their short reveal release cycles. And so for it to be at SGF, the only way that was going to work was if it was coming out that fall or if it was coming out early in the early part of the following year. And I didn't think that was going to be the case. If it's not here, I'm legitimately going to be concerned. Like, unless you're trying to do a promotional cycle of less than 6 months, it's got every reason to be here. It's been literally a decade since the original release as of next year. They talked about Dragon Age in both 2020 and 2021. BioWare clearly enjoys working with Jeff. They clearly have a working relationship of sorts, so there's no issues there. If that game is scheduled for summer 2024, which is what people think, then it should definitely be here to go ahead and get the ball rolling. Like, okay, this is what our world looks like. This is kind of the story a little bit, some of the gameplay. I don't know. That probably needs a blowout trailer, but you probably just get like a 2 or 3 minute trailer here if it shows up. So we'll see. Rakeem, what's your first game?
So my first game, and anyone who's followed the podcast for a long time will know about me speaking on this game, is Hades 2. This was actually one of my predictions, I believe, for our Summer Games Fest predictions. And I stated there that because I believe it debuted at the previous Game Awards, if I'm not mistaken. And following up with that, I thought, okay, between the previous Game Awards and Summer Games Fest, I thought I would see something. They have not shown anything. However, I believe on their socials or maybe some other videos or things like that, they did mention that they might be going to early access with it next year. So I was thinking maybe possibly seeing a trailer, another trailer following up from the Game Awards this year, leading into the early access release date announcement sometime next year. It would just make sense. It seems like they're going in maybe a slightly different direction. They're still doing the early access. You know, the original Hades did the announcement, and it was out that day, and people were playing it like that day. So, you know, it's a little different of a process. I am thoroughly interested in how this is going to look, like what changes they're going to make. This is the first sequel they've ever made as a studio, which is
it made buku money. So like when you make money like that, like
yeah, and of course this studio is not that big. I mean, it might be 50 people now. They've probably grown at this point. I remember when they first started, they had like 20 something people. They had the one narrator dude, the black dude who does the narration for like every single game they're on. And that they're probably bigger now. But that was one game I'm excited for. Hades, I followed its entire development. I followed the early access. I was in the early access. I watched every update, and I played the game after release. Although I actually never got around to finishing. I'm just bad at roguelike. But I just love Supergiant, so I've been following this very closely, and they're keeping this close to the chest. So I hope that because of that, they have a lot more secrets and innovations. Because Hades, as an identity in its own way, as a game, revolutionized roguelikes and their popularity. As a result, there are a lot of games that copy and mimic the things it did in games today, and I'm seeing it in like a lot of roguelikes, especially if you play on PC. Console gamers are seeing it a little bit more now with roguelikes, because at first it was just a PC thing, but like especially on PC, Hades has a lot of influence on how the direction of how roguelikes went. And hopefully they still innovate in this new game and keep trending forward. So I think we'll see something from Hades 2 and Supergiant at this Game Awards. Hopefully I'm not wrong twice in one year.
I don't know. Like I'll get around to it like when I get to my turn, because this is a very interesting Game Awards, I think. But first up, I want to go with Devin, round 2. What do you think is going to? What's your second prediction?
Okay, which one I want to pull out for this one? I'm gonna say Hellblade 2, man. This is another one that for me, like, what was that first like initial showing where they had like
the Game Awards?
Yeah, the game, and I don't think that was like per se gameplay, but it was like mixed in with some gameplay maybe.
They said it was gameplay. It didn't look like gameplay.
Yeah, that's why
it looked more like cinematics.
Yeah, it was like maybe like you know how they do like that half like cinematic. You know, they try to sell you. Most people just really in tune, like they ain't actual gameplay. But I don't know, man. It just like kind of went dark as well, man. Like, and that's a game like it's super interesting. It's like one of like Xbox's like kind of one of their like new blood like, in the arena. And like for this game to just come out, like people were expecting it, they're waiting on it, but it's like they showed that first trailer and it's like, no, we just kind of seen nothing. And so at this point, like I feel like at this point it's the perfect time to actually show a gameplay trailer, like a real legit gameplay trailer. They had some other trailer that was like more story focused. It was showing like her, you know, the struggles with like her.
I do remember this. Yeah. I think that was that might have been this year.
I think
that might have been during the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase.
I think you're right. You're right.
It do make sense.
And they showed like some more like kind of narrative driven stuff, like her having these like inner dialogues, but still it was like no gameplay or nothing.
Now that looked a little more closer to gameplay than what we saw at
the giant.
Yeah.
Thing, but yeah, it's just. But I guess like in terms of like just showing like traversal around the environments and maybe like what combat could maybe possibly look like, maybe like these like new things that you might have to do with this like journey that you're going on. It almost seemed like not as cryptic as what this was, but it seemed like they almost doing like Death Stranding. Like even when Death Stranding first came out, they showed all these trailers that had me super hyped and super like interested because we knew nothing of what was going on. It was like, what the heck is going on?
You're an Amazon truck driver. That's what you are.
but that's the thing. Like
they ain't tell you.
Watching them trailers, you like that's the furthest thing you would have thought. Like, I don't know, man. I think at this point,
Bezos wants you to reconnect the world.
they're not quite as cryptic as that, but I think it's time for them to show something, man. I think they got to show something because at this point is where the game at, man. Like. This one of y'all heavy hitters, man. You just released Starfield, so Xbox. I'm pretty sure most people want to see another like hitter on that console. So it just went dark, man. I'm just like, man, this game looks so interesting, but they're like, you ain't gonna see nothing else on it, man.
Thanks, Terrence.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, I think Hellblade 2 stands a good shot at being there. Hellblade was one of those, like, in 2021, Jeff made a big point to say, we're going to show you some games that are not in the near future. And so he showed 3 games back to back that were not in the near future. I don't know if y'all remember which 3 games there were. I'm going to remind you of one of them very shortly if y'all don't pick it, and I don't think anybody will. But yeah, that's a game. I think Hellblade 2 is marked as a 2024 game. I think it's confirmed 2024. I don't know if it's like holiday 2024 or if it's like middle of the year. I think it might be holiday, so that might be where you're at. Half-Life 3 is guaranteed to show up. I mean,
Half-Life 3?
Terrence on there helping you.
If Jeff
must
had Half-Life 3, it's a wrap. He wrapped up the year.
I
Well,
will
bro,
say, Terrence, if Half-Life 3 shows up,
that's not gonna be there.
Hey man,
You got
I'm
Half-Life
just
3.
saying, bro. If Half-Life 3 shows up, you know what that means?
Half-Life 3. You got
that means
Half-Life
Jeff
Alyx.
Keighley taught Valve how to count to 3.
He taught him how to count. I mean, somebody already taught him how to count. You got Half-Life Alyx.
I don't need that. We need 3.
some of that
Hey.
VR game.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's
It was
one of the
very well
only.
received.
I was gonna say that's one of the only VR games that people's like, hey, this is the truth.
Man,
It's one of the only ones. It ain't that many of them.
nah,
That's
Devin
probably the
said,
best you gonna
It
get.
ain't nothing to me, man.
nah,
It ain't nothing to
man.
me, man. He got Elden Ring, so it ain't nothing to him. Rakeem, you up next, bro.
Okay. So for my next one, I'm actually gonna choose a game, Hyper Light Breaker.
Ooh.
Ooh.
This was a game by Heart Machine. I follow closely. They're the developers of a Hyper Light Drifter, which is like this really cool, kind of isometric 16-bit, hyper fast action. I didn't even say RPG, but like an action adventure game that was really well received in indie developers and the indie kind of underground kind of scene. And now they're working on this bigger project, and they have a very nice documentary, I believe, on NoClip about the development of this game. Because the development of the game, this new game, Hyper Light Breaker, is going in a roguelike direction. But in mid-development, they switched from just being a regular roguelike to an open world game.
Yep.
So like the documentary shows like the struggles of like changing direction. They had to push the game back, obviously. And they have shown footage of this game multiple times throughout the last couple years. It looks very good, looks very colorful and interesting. They're a studio that's really big on atmosphere and art direction over like dialogue and storytelling, more environmental storytelling, kind of what their strong suit is. And this game really personifies that. So I would really like to see more from that game. And I would not be surprised if they had another trailer that show up at the Game Awards to show the potential next release date next year, because it has been a while since they've talked about it. I'm interested in seeing it. Hopefully we'll see something from Hyper Light Breaker. And if you hadn't seen the documentary on NoClip, check it out. It's really good.
Okay.
So I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, Hyper Light Breaker was first shown off in like 2021.
Yeah, something
I
like
think
that.
yeah,
And-
somewhere
I
around
think
there.
so. Yeah.
And they specifically were like, it's not coming out within the next year. And it didn't. But now we're into 2023, and it's like, holy crap. And I thought it would be out this year, and I guess it wasn't.
Yeah, they
That
pushed it
game
back.
is, it got pushed back again in 2024, I think. And so I'm wondering if, I don't know necessarily that I think it'll be there, but I do know that it's probably coming out next year. And so it's got to have like a big splash moment, whether it's here, whether it's at, Xbox Developer Direct or Xbox's Game Showcase or Sony or whatever. But like, we'll see. But that is a good pick, because it is about time for us to see that game again. Will, you're up next, bro.
Okay, so of the things I'm seeing, well, I'll go ahead and throw something out that I'm hype about, and I'm thinking there's a possibility of it. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel, even though we getting word from the devs themselves about this, I wonder if we'll see any info about the Final Fantasy 16 DLC that's supposed to be coming up. But that's
think it's
2
almost
episodes they're talking about. Yeah, like I know it's. I feel like it's kind of almost confirmed in its own way. But
I think
wanna
it's
see
one of
exactly
those.
the-
I think they said the DLC, we'd hear more news about it. Very recently, I think I saw this headline. That we'd hear more about it in December. They didn't say anything
Yeah.
about the Game Awards, but like in December. And so you
Right.
could make that inference. So
Yeah, so I feel like maybe it could pop up there. I'm trying to see exactly. They say it's about getting more into the world, like kind of getting more into the world and story behind Clive and maybe some other characters as well. So I'm like, okay, I'm with that because I want more of that detail. I want to know more about them and things they went through, things that we didn't get a chance to play or even so much as read or hear about. So I think it'd be kind of cool to see that pop up. If it does, that'd be awesome.
That's a good choice. It's a bit of a safe choice, but as far as if we trying to keep track of who's winning as far as predictions goes, safe choices sometimes get you some points. So I'm with it. I understand. And then while we're at it, I think if they do show up at the Game Awards, you would not only get Final Fantasy 16 DLC, but you would also get the PC release date, because I don't think there is one right now. We just know it's coming to PC.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, so you'd need a release date for that. So you could bundle those two bits of information together, and it would be a huge deal, a way to bring some life back into Final Fantasy 16, which has had a very interesting second half to the year. Yeah. Despite like the good reviews, like it wound up being a little bit more polarizing than I would have expected.
Yeah, it was extremely polarizing, but then because of these big sales been going on since Black Friday and whatnot passed, apparently the numbers went back up on the game because people started to buy it because it was on sale. So I'm like, that's cool. It's cool to see more people play it. Yeah,
it is. That is very cool. For me, my second pick is Wonder Woman. This is one of the three games alongside Hellblade. It was Hellblade, Star Wars Eclipse, and that game's nowhere near completion. And then Monolith, if it ever comes out, because like the stuff with David Cage and like the problems they had hiring people, and like it very much was they showed you some shit before they were even close to actually working on a game. If we ever see that game, but Wonder Woman on the other hand, like I don't know. Jeff talked on YouTube Live, and I was checking that out before with the show about how there would be some games making reappearance. Monolith hasn't done a game since 2017's Middle Earth: Shadow of War. I know it's a new IP compared to like new IPs always take more time than like making a sequel to an old IP. It took 7 years to make Horizon. It took 5 years to make Forbidden West. But even then, it's been 7 years, And also, I think it was interesting how they were very quick to correct people and let them know that Wonder Woman was absolutely not a games as a service game. Like that news got out, I think, towards the end of 1 week. And by the middle of the next, they were like, no. This is not a games as a service game. Like, we want to make sure y'all know this right now. This is not that. This is a single player game. And I think that was them trying to like clear the air because they didn't want because it was like, because that whole bit of news, I think, broke in November. And they cleared it up in November. And I think they just didn't want that to muddle any potential announcement of like, okay, here's what the game actually looks like. And I also think 2022 was supposed to be Gotham Knights' year. It had its own problems, technical issues, and just gameplay issues. 2023 was supposed to be Suicide Squad's year. It got pushed out. But I do think that 2024 was supposed to be Wonder Woman's year, and just have a DC game every year for 3 years straight, which is pretty cool. I think if Wonder Woman's ready, you release both. You release Suicide Squad and you release the Wonder Woman and just see what happens. They're not the same game. They're not going for the same audience. One is a single player RPG, open world action RPG. The other is like a 4-player co-op type experience. Those aren't going to be going after the same market. So you can put them both out in the same year and be fine. In fact, you might get higher sales just by having them both out. People might want to check out both. So, and so that takes us into round 3. So if y'all got some spicy ones that you want to bust out, I will give y'all a chance to talk about like random. I will give you a chance in the lightning round to give me 2 more picks that you might have had, that you might have wrote down that nobody actually took from you. But first, Rakeem, let's go, man. What's your third one?
My third one, I think this might be a lock. The Shadow of the Erdtree DLC for Elden Ring.
Oh yeah.
I think it's time. This is the perfect place for it. It definitely wasn't coming out this year. And if you're gonna show it, it's gonna be at the Game Awards and probably be announced. Who knows? Maybe like March, April, or something like that. Of course, Elden Ring. For those of you who've watched the show, one of my favorite games of the last few years. I loved it. I beat the whole game. It was one of the toughest challenges I went through, but one of the most rewarding. And I have been waiting for this DLC. I don't know what the word. patiently and a little irritably because I'm like, why this take a long time? But I'm hearing this is going to be a very massive expansion, so it's going to be very large DLC, which I'm down for. So it's practically with DLC expansion this large, it's almost like having another game, a smaller version of the game.
Elden Ring 1.5 in that bitch.
Exactly, like in between whatever the next project is. So I definitely it's gonna be a huge announcement. I expect to see what it is, see some new spells, some new armor, some new story stuff. I'm down for it. See what Mikla's up to, why they were on their horse, and look forward to it. So I think Elden Ring Shadow Erdtree is a lock. I don't think that's too much.
No, it's not. I think that's completely
not too much. Man.
Yeah. I think that's almost a lock. I think. I will say this. I asked this. Do you think that Elden Ring is the only thing FromSoft has there? Because last year they definitely doubled down and were like, hey, here's this, and then also here's Armored Core. Do you think that they do something else?
Well, since it's an expansion, I mean, the rumor about their new game came out a while ago. And I'm pretty sure like the developer even had like an interview. We talked about like whatever the next project was that wasn't Armored Core was really far in development even then. So it's very possible if we do, it's just going to be like another just straight trailer. The Shadow Erdtree would be just like, here's the release date. This is coming out with details. And the other one would be like, the traditional FromSoft pretty much does the same thing every time. Just this cutscene trailer. You don't know what the hell's going on. They're going to show the title. It's gonna be somebody's head hanging up, or some magic circles, and some weird shit go happen. A war, spells flying, and be like, circle jerk magic game, real slow, and nothing else. You don't know what it is. They gonna
standing on business.
Standing on business, the game, and that's gonna be it. So, I totally expect that. I would say it's a possibility. I don't know if it's guaranteed we'll get the other announcement. I definitely think we'll get Shadow the Erdtree, but I can see them doing another announcement for whatever their next game is, which is allegedly a spellcaster mage game. So
we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Will, what's your third, man?
My third. So I might I don't know. This might be a little bit of a big time outlier, especially since we did get some information about it this year. Knowing what's going on with, we got a little bit of footage of it, but Pragmata.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like that's a good place to put it.
I feel like it should appear because I know it's had its troubles, especially when they first showed us something. It was just like, oh, we don't know what this game is about, and then they gave us something to show it what it was kind of about, and I'm like, oh, but then they had the little girl come up with the sign saying,
I'm sorry,
I don't have it written down, pull up on us with this, and I'm just like, oh, okay, so y'all pushing it back. Thank you for letting us know, but at the same time, I still feel like there's something for y'all to tell us. Even though y'all are pushing it back, I'm pretty sure y'all got something in the tank here.
So you feel more comfortable going with Pragmata over Monster Hunter?
Yeah, I do. At least at this moment right here, I do think Monster Hunter is happening, but they have kind of like did this reassurance thing where they just like, we still got this in the tank, we still got something to show you. So I do kind of see Monster Hunter showing up later, but if it does show up at the Game Awards, I'm definitely willing to say, hey, I was wrong there. But Pragmata, I feel like it needs to show up at least one good time. Not necessarily with a definite date, but give us something more to see.
I agree.
I think Pragmata looked very good in that last trailer, and that was the first time we actually had any indication of what that game was. Until then, it was just vague, spooky vibes, tiny, creepy child, and some dude in a spacesuit. And I was like, all right, yeah. I mean, I guess. And
it's like 50 horror games right there.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Know, right? And what's going to happen?
In fact, actually, over-under on how many horror games is at this show. Who you place the over at?
I'm gonna place the over. I'm gonna place the over 6. At 5.
Okay, 5, 6. So you think they're gonna be more than 5? You think there's gonna be what, more than 6?
Probably 6 under.
Okay, under 6.
At most,
okay.
Yeah.
Devin, how many horror games? Because that's like every show Jeff does now got multiple horror games in that bitch.
Yeah, it do. Because what was that other game we saw with the dude like walking in like the dark hallways? Dang, I forgot the name of that game. It had a cool title.
An Asian dude.
It had a cool title.
Slitterhead and shit.
Not Slitterhead. It was like really dark, like Silent Hill vibes. And I think that show.
What's the name of
Thanks, Bob. I
I know
can't.
what you're talking about too.
Like a really cool name.
Man, it's a lot of these.
I'll probably think about it
Scared
later.
Layers of fear.
I say maybe like 6. Maybe I'm gonna say 6 or under. Maybe they might tone it down this year because they have been doing a lot of hard stuff.
It's wild when 6 is conservative.
Man,
I know, right?
I remember they did like Jeff's Summer Game Fest from last year, and there were so many horror games.
Space horror to be exact.
Yeah, they was all out in space. Somebody was getting hunted, murdered, killed. I'm like, what is going on? Like, where I was like, there has to be more variety to like gaming than this. And I mean, of course, in 2023 there were more varied titles from different genres. But I mean, I guess that was just what was ready to show, and so he just made it a scary ass Summer Game Fest. You know, what do you want?
Spooky Game Fest.
But yeah, that's why I had to ask. As far as Pragmata goes, I put more faith in Monster Hunter being there. I do think that there are semi-reliable leaks saying that Monster Hunter comes out next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can see them doing that just to let you know that it exists and give you like a vague idea of the date. Or, I mean, they could do Pragmata and not have no date or tell you that it's 2025 or something. What's up?
What's the name of that other game that Capcom did? It's very Onimusha adjacent.
Kunitsugami.
Yeah,
Kunitsugami. Yeah.
That's the other game I was thinking about too, but I said I'm not gonna put that down because we might not see that. But yeah,
I'm always wary of games that I've already seen in the year showing up again at places. Usually, the only time you do that is like the game is either coming out or just came out.
Mm-hmm.
And by coming out, I mean like within the next month or two. Like it's in that short period of like we gotta slam this in your face every day to try to get as many people as possible to buy it. That's usually when you see those. Otherwise, you tend not to see like it showed up here and now it's here, because like I guess even the people running the show like, hey man, you gotta give me something else. You already had this. Like you already showed me this at Gamescom. You gotta give me something else.
In Will's defense, though, I remember Capcom's last new IP Exo Prime. I felt like they showed it off everywhere they could get it.
Yeah.
Boy did.
They had like 3 betas, a demo. They were really trying to get people to play that.
Dinosaurs.
They did. All right, Devin, you up, man?
I'm gonna stay in the realm of Capcom. Pragmata is actually one I was gonna say, but I got another Capcom one, and I think I've heard some rumblings of this, some rumors, and they got the remakes out of the way. I think RE9.
Ooh.
Maybe show like a little teaser, maybe just like the little they show like a zombie's finger or toenail and be like, yeah, RE9,
I don't want to see that
because RE8 came out with
teaser is possible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it ain't might not be no gameplay, but like, because RE8 came out with 2021. They've gotten the remakes out of the way. So I mean, at this point, you might as well go ahead and saddle up for RE9. Show a little something. I don't know story wise what's going to be happening because there's a lot of stuff going on now. But I think they could, because they just had a DLC. Was that this year? Or was that last?
Yes.
That was okay. The Rose. That was last year.
Thing? That was last
year.
Yeah, that was last year with his daughter. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I think maybe just like a little, how they do. They just show like a logo or something. I think we could get that. I mean, I would be down for it just to see what's the next game gonna look like. Is it gonna continue with the well, not Ethan, but I guess his daughter? Or are they gonna go back to like somebody that we've known before, Chris, Leon, Jill, like what's happening? So I don't know if it'll be a lot, but I would like to see that, just a little teaser.
Okay.
All right.
Never say never, but if I had to say yes or no, that one would be probably the biggest no, because Monster Hunter is the big thing coming up.
Mm-hmm.
They just put out RE4. It's been the same leakers that have been leaking Capcom shit for years have been definitively said RE9 is not coming out next year. It's a 2025 game. And so like I don't know, like I if they put up a little teaser like you said, I would not be surprised, but I would be surprised if we got anything more than that. Yeah. And they've been pretty good about kind of keeping those Like if RE9 was coming out, I probably would expect it more at next year's Game Awards if it's coming out in 2025, or maybe Gamescom, like something where it's pretty close, so that you only have to wait about 7 months after you find out it exists to actually play it. But we'll see. You know, I would never discount, because I'm not on the panel, so I can't say for sure.
Yeah.
So the third thing, my third prediction, let's zoom out a little bit. This is a very weird year. Like I remember at the top of last year, I had a conversation with, I think, Keem, and we talked, and I was like, man, it just don't feel like it's been 2 years into this generation. And then we revisited that conversation about midway through this year, and I was like, nah, I feel like it's 3 years in this generation.
Oh, yeah.
Because there were so many big games of like major franchises to hit. The Mortal Kombats and the Street Fighters and the Final Fantasy, the Diablos, the Zeldas, the you know, all these God of War, like all these fucking Horizon got another game, like so many fucking franchises, like you drowning in all the like the big popular franchises gotten stuff. GTA is possibly a year away. I doubt it. I bet it's whatever date they give you, I bet it slips, but still they've given you so many games, so like, and so now I'm like, dang, I feel like we kind of tapped out. And so like now my eyes kind of turn towards like new IPs. And so I think that's probably, we're going to see a lot of new IPs from different developers. There are, I remember I showed y'all this, the Shinobi on Twitter, Shinobi602, his long list of like indie developers, indie, but like they're not like small, like 10-person teams. They're like bigger teams capable of making AAA titles. I think you get a lot of those. I think there's going to be quite a few of those. If you wanted one to keep your eye out for, Archetype Entertainment, they're working on a big sci-fi IP. I think they have some Mass Effect devs, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's another one, Humanoid Studios, that definitely has Mass Effect devs. In fact, I think that one of the Mass Effect lead writers is over there on there. But like that one I wouldn't bet on. Archetype Entertainment I would bet on. Other than that, there are a few others that I want to talk about in just a second. So I just want to go ahead and get some lightning rounds out. If you've got, let's say 3 games. If you've got 3 more games, let me know just real quick. Will, what do you have?
Okay, so I'm gonna dig this one up because it seems like it's just been buried. Skull and Bones.
Oh my god. Yo, why
Yo. Skull and Bones would have been canceled a long time ago if they weren't in tax trouble with Singapore.
Yeah, I know. If they weren't in trouble, this game would have been straight up in the dirt, but it's still there.
It's kind of funny too, because they released like I don't think I don't know if that was an official release or not, but there was like a very well produced trailer that talked about the game, what do you do in the world, what the world was like, all that shit.
I think it was official release.
Okay.
I think it leaked first and then they released it.
I think that's what happened. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And you would think that game would be like very close to release. The only thing that would get me in the way of like Skull and Bones is that like Ubisoft I don't think Ubisoft has ever just showed out at the Game Awards. The first time for everything, but I don't think I've ever seen them show out. You got anything else?
Yeah, I do actually. Another something that I kind of want to see, and it just had a beta this year too. I want to see the exact day Foam Stars is going to touch systems. I'm trying to get Soapy in like the early part of 2024 because that was actually really fun. I'm just saying, bro, that it was a really fun game. I enjoyed it. If they fix them lobbies up for where you can get in with your friends, if they can fix that up and fix a couple other little aspects, the game can do great. It can do great on drop. I feel that it's just after drop is what I'm going to be worried about because we know who's behind it. So, yeah.
Beyond that, we just know how multiplayer games have been turning out lately. I was looking at, and I think this is also worth talking about. I think me, Devin, and Rakeem looked at like a couple of IGN compilation trailers for the Game Awards for both 2022 and 2021. And we sat there, and some of them games, it was like grand opening, grand closing. They was, here we are, and then they came out, and then we forgot about it, and then they was close it down. And I hate that because there are people that work at those companies, and that sucks for them. But like, it's only so many games. It's only so much time in the day. And like something that, and I'm gonna move on real quick, but I do want to just put this out there for people to think about. Some people don't think about is that the average age of video gamers is our age.
Yeah.
People in their 30s, like 32 to 35 is like the average age of people to play video games. And so that means these are people that are grown with jobs, kids, wives, husbands, responsibilities. And so they don't have time to sit here and play all games all day. And multiplayer games suck up so much of your time anyway. So, I mean,
they definitely do.
Will, you got one more? You done?
One more, and because I went searching, just trying to figure out if there's anything that hadn't like got any word or hadn't seen anything, and I would definitely throw another far one out there too. I doubt it'll be there, but it's just a wild guess. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando.
Wow,
man, I forgot about that.
That was at. What the hell was that at? Was that at Summer Game Fest this year?
I believe so. We saw it somewhere.
Yeah, I know. I remember seeing it, and I'm just like, this looked interesting enough, but I want to see what they do with it. I want to see if it would pop up here. If it magically pops up here, color me surprised. Color me yellow and black, bro. Like, for real. Like, I just want to see it.
I mean, I think it's supposed to come out next year, if I'm not mistaken. I think it said something about a 2024, so you know, that'd be cool. Yeah. Rakeem, what you got, man? You got 2 or 3 for us?
Yeah, my first one, I think it's been enough time we get another trailer maybe for Metaphor Refantagio. There's only been really one trailer for it, and it's coming out next year pretty early, right? So I don't know. Does that have a release date yet, or am I tripping?
No, that doesn't have a release date. No.
Okay.
Persona
cool.
3 has a release date.
Yeah.
Right. Persona 3 has a release date. I think it's been enough time. I think we'll get, if we do get another trailer, it'll be more in depth on like how the system is going to work, a more gameplay oriented trailer. That seems to be the new big IP from them. And I think it should be there. I mean, Persona has such a big legacy, and that studio has such a big legacy. I think it's time for them to kind of push forth this new IP, see how it does. The other one on my list, I don't think. The other one on my list, Project L. I think it's time for another trailer from Project L. It's been forever.
Yeah, it has been
forever.
forever.
I think we could get a beta announcement. That's the only thing. Like a preview beta announcement would be real. To me, it's realistic because they've shown this game off multiple times. It seems to came along a far way. It won't probably be a big beta, just probably the characters we've already seen, and just let the public play it. I expect a beta test announcement. And last things, because I gotta throw out some that doesn't make sense, but I would like to see something from it. Is I'm gonna stick with Riot. I'll take a photo, an image of the Riot MMO, anything. That thing, they said we work on MMO.
So if
they are like,
hold on, does it count?
Exists.
Does it count if they do that thing that a lot of devs love to do, where they sit down and talk to the devs with some concept art in the background?
Yeah, because we all know when you say MMO, that's darn near 7 to 8 years.
Typically.
Yeah. So
good luck.
I don't expect anything in depth, but I can see concept art or like the structure of a combat system in the background.
Right. We're really working to figure out ways to reinvent the MMO background concept art.
And then you like, yeah. And some guy like, yeah, that's the future right there. See you in 5 years.
They ain't gonna tell you see you in 5 years, but they are gonna tell you that we're working hard to make sure we can bring this game to you at the highest of quality, which it probably will be. But it's just you gonna wait a while. You gonna wait till the PS6.
Oh man. Oh, and one last thing. We might get. This is just a shot in the dark, but I kind of expect Rebirth to have like a final trailer / demo announcement.
Yes.
They always do a demo announcement for Final Fantasy, and it's so close now that like, I'll probably get like a last trailer and a demo announcement. They usually do it like a month before or 2 months before, so it makes perfect sense. Hell, it could be like a demo. Hey, the demo's out tonight or tomorrow or something like that. They might pull that out.
I'm gonna put Shadow Drop by your shit in parentheses. You'll get a for all this lightning round shit. For all this lightning round shit, I'm gonna give everybody half a point. But if you get your far out like FF7 Rebirth plus Shadow Drop beta, like, all right, you get a full point for that shit.
Okay. All right,
that's it for me. That's out in the world. Devin, what you got, man? You got 2 or 3 for us?
Actually, Rakeem also we was in the same thought process. I was like, man, they release a FF7 demo, boy. Because the game came out with February, it was March.
February.
February, yeah. So that would be like
yeah.
give you like a little two-month buffer to play it.
3.
So
7. Unicorn Overlord.
what do I want to start with from my okay, I'm gonna start with Sega because I say this because I've seen some stuff on Twitter with some content creators got like these little letters.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like you're gonna say something, but I think it's gonna be something else. What do you think it is?
It's weird because the people that they sent it to, like I know Max, he asked a question like, am I the only like fighting game centric person that this was sent to, or was it sent to everybody? And I saw that it was to other people, and I have 2 options, but man, I don't know. I feel like one is definitely will be more logical than the other one. But then one game came out like just last year. I'm gonna say Virtua Fighter 6, man. Virtua Fighter 6. I wanted to say maybe some on the Sonic Frontiers too, but I think we might have some.
Oh hell no! No. There is a rumor that they are working beyond a rumor. There's a rumor that they are working on Jet Set Radio.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Radio revival.
Oh yeah, you know it's weird because I read something where they said like they had showed some images and they said that was like for some marketing, but I'm like, that's like a lot of work to do for that to make that look that decent. Just for like some that makes no sense for y'all just to bring it up just to do that. And now, hey, if I get Jet Set Radio, I know how I feel about that game. I just got Cyberfront Bomber's Cyberfront this year. I would be down for it. So if it's freaking Jet Set Radio, I'd be for it. Well, you know what? It probably will be there because who am I kidding? Virtua Fighter ain't gonna be showing up in no Game Awards. Who am I kidding?
I don't know that. Like did they just do a thing with Virtua Fighter 3, like some type of online revision, some shit like that?
Yes, 5? It is actually.
Was
it's
it 5?
That was like 2 years ago.
No.
Oh, it's 3.
Yeah,
it's 3. It's 3 from the Dreamcast.
Right.
Virtua Fighter 3 TB, and I think it's an online revision, but I think it's also back in arcades too.
Oh, I think this is one of them times where they trying to build it up just ahead, and then they be like, all right, we got Virtua Fighter 3 online right now. You can check that out. But also we got Virtua Fighter 6 coming out. So
you remember 2 years ago they had Virtua Fighter 5 with the big update in the online.
Right. And that did very well for them. And that was about
especially putting it on PS Plus.
Yeah. When they put it on PS Plus, that performed quite well for them. So I would not be surprised if you got Virtua Fighter 6.
Yeah, I guess I'll stick with Virtua Fighter then.
I'm the only guy over here holding out for Virtual On.
Hey, hold on now.
I love Virtual On.
You not. Virtual On is dope.
That shit looks fire.
Virtual On is dope.
So 2 more. I know that apparently, I think if I'm not mistaken, Jeff and Hideo Kojima have a kind of solid relationship. I want to see something else on Death Stranding too. Yeah, I mean, and it's like remember from the first game they released like 50 trailers and I was confused as I was on the first every trailer. I was confused. I'm like, I'm so confused, but I'm so intrigued. And I feel like they're gonna do the same thing.
On you people.
So,
they got that off the ground quick too, because like that game. Yes. It went from I'm forming a studio to my game is coming out in like 4 years.
Yeah,
this is a sequel, which I mean usually they tend to take less time. Yeah. So I would not be surprised if that was like you saw it again and they was like, hey man, this coming out late next year.
Yeah, that boy.
I feel like Death Stranding is the one game because, like, when you think about trailers that have confusing marketing, it's like the death nail of a game when people don't know what the game is. Death Stranding was like the one game where, like, we were so confused that it actually made the game more popular. Yeah, because we didn't want to know what the fuck
it was great marketing. It was great marketing. Yeah. I see Terrence said he said surprised no one said Silent Hill 2. I actually was thinking of Silent Hill.
Ain't they got like 50-11 Silent Hills they working on?
I don't know, man.
Silent Hill 2 remake. There's that
and
other
then like
game.
Silent Hill lowercase f or some shit.
I think lowercase f. I think that's a musical reference, if anything.
And then some other Silent Hill like TV show or
that movie garbage.
Hold on, the new one?
Garbage.
Yes, I don't know.
Silent Hill Ascension?
Garbage. Silent Hill garbage.
He ain't wrong.
Sending it to the trash can. Silent Hill Descent into the dumpster.
He's not wrong.
That's a real downpour.
Wait. Wasn't that one of them?
Yes, that was a game. Yeah, downpour.
There was,
Yeah, that was
like
one of the
there was
games.
like 3 different projects for Silent Hill, 3 or 4 different.
That was like
projects.
that was already it's been out.
That's
Yeah, that
already.
was
Okay,
forever
okay.
ago. Yeah.
There was like I just remember seeing like 3 or 4 projects. One of them was like a movie, a couple of them was a games, and then like something like
Yep.
visual novel shit or something. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, they
I
was doing
think
the
that-
most.
yeah.
That's the
I was
reason
saying,
why.
yo.
That's the reason why I didn't say it, because they got so much going on, and if they are doing a remake, they should just focus on that. Just do like Capcom, to just focus on the games that were
outsourced.
popular.
They
Oh,
outsourced
okay.
Silent
Yeah.
Hill 2.
Okay.
To,
Okay, Sage. So
The people that
it's
did
5.
Layers of Fear.
It's 5 projects. I just looked up a thing. I just looked up Silent Hill projects, and it's the Silent Hill 2 remake, Silent Hill Townfall,
Yep.
Silent Hill F, which is a spinoff, Ascension, which is this garbage thing they got going on now, and then there's apparently a new movie adaptation called Return to Silent Hill.
I told y'all it was hella projects. I was like, man, what the fuck is all this shit? I didn't keep track of it because I ain't no Silent Hill motherfucker. I'm not gonna deal with all this horror shit. So, but I just remember seeing there was a shit ton of them. But Silent Hill 2, I mean, like, if it showed up, I wouldn't be surprised just because it seems like it's time.
It would be if they actually do that right. They should just be like, let's do it, man. Your competitor has been doing. They've made multiple great remakes already. They were y'all competitor back in the day, so try to fight, put something out. You know.
Put your hands up.
My last one, I was gonna say Metal Gear Solid 3 remake or Delta.
Ooh.
that would make sense.
But I'm gonna do like Rakeem said. I'm gonna throw my far-fetched one out there, man. I'm gonna take you for a ride. I'm gonna take it. Hey man, it's happening, man. You ain't telling me it ain't happening, man. I'm Marvel's Capcom 4, baby. They gonna have Magneto from the movie, him and freaking Hugh Jackman on stage. Yeah, man. He gonna announce it. They gonna do just like Keanu. He gonna announce, say, "Hey guys, I played Wolverine for decades, and I'm glad to announce Marvel vs. Capcom 4." Yeah.
It's December 2023, right?
Yeah.
Not 2013, right? What year is this man talking about? Hell no, they gonna be no damn Marvel's Capcom 4.
What you mean, bro?
Hell no. They too busy trying to get y'all to pay $100 for some costumes in Street Fighter 6. Ain't gonna be no damn Marvel's Capcom 4. You thought.
You right.
You want
It's
Marvel's
gonna
Capcom 4? You download and put all the mods in the Marvel's Capcom 3. That's what you do.
Nah, man.
you already did
Actually, Infinite is 4, right? So it'd be 5, right?
Nah,
No.
that ain't. That is not 4. That is a spinoff.
Yo.
That is that's a Marvel vs. Capcom adjacent game.
Yeah, well, there it is right there.
The gameplay was fine, but
The
everything else
gameplay was fine. Everything else was dumpster
Everything
juice.
else was a blunder.
I appreciate you for at least keeping that absolutely insane prediction to the lightning round where it's not gonna hurt you. You just out there, you just like threw it out at the end. That's fair. For me, I'm reluctant to say it, but Crimson Desert, it showed up at Gamescom
Yep.
and it looked much better. The frame rate
did.
was a little more consistent. Well, actually, the frame rate was way better.
Way better.
I don't know if it's completely fixed, but it's way better than that first trailer. Because I went back and watched that first trailer. I was like, my God.
That first trailer like the
Don't put that
Batman
out.
on Switch.
Man, it was. I was like, how many frames is this? What happened to my frames? So Crimson Desert, I'm reluctant to say any of these because they're more like wish list stuff and less like things I think could happen. I think this Game Awards is kind of fascinating just from the perspective of I don't feel like I know anything. I felt very uncomfortable not like making predictions just because there's so much that's in the air. And then like one thing I noticed watching both Jeff's 2021 and 2022 is that just about all those games are out. There's a handful across the last 2 years that aren't out yet. Some of them he told you wouldn't be out yet, but like most of those games are out. And so what you're looking at is a scenario where it's like, look, I'm really only trying to talk about games that's coming out in the following year. And so like, I don't know, like maybe there's some games in the following year, but like Sony might want to keep them close to the vest. Like Rise of the Ronin, that's another one that I thought about. Like if that comes out in the early part of 2024, like you might want to talk about that before you get to the usual Sony state of play in the early part of the year. So that's, I don't know. One thing I am pretty, and I'm gonna go let's just go ahead and get out of here with just these last two. Transformers Reactivate. They showed that game off at the Game Awards last year, and then we never saw it again.
Yeah, it went dark.
And I'm like, hey, man, like, I want to see something. Like, there's no reason for y'all not to. Jeff did say he was going to have some games that we've seen make a reappearance. Hopefully this is one of them. I would be super excited to get that. And then either is one that's boring. Horizon Forbidden West, like the PC release date announcement.
That's probably what happened.
Oh yeah, that probably will show up.
That probably shows up. It's probably like a early January, February, March, like Q1 type thing. I'm excited because I do want to try it out, but I'm not excited because that game's been out for like a year plus. So, and then the last one is Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That game was revealed, I think at Summer Game Fest, and then it later on showed up at Ubisoft's own thing. So it's possible. And then like we know that people thought that game wasn't coming out next year. It got delayed a little bit inside of that year. They was like, actually, this game was supposed to come out Q1. And so, like, maybe that game comes out Q2. Jeff has not shied away from showing Star Wars at his shows. He showed Eclipse in 2021. He showed Jedi Survivor in 2022. Like, he's not shied away from putting Star Wars there. I could see it being another Star Wars year. What's up?
Did he also show the KOTOR remake trailer?
No, that was Sony. That was
Sony,
Sony
okay.
PlayStation Showcase.
Okay.
One of the rare misses for them as far as like announcements. I don't think we ever get that game. But like Star Wars Outlaws, I think if that's coming out in like May, June, July, like that type of time period, I could easily see that because it would be too soon for like a state of play or an Xbox showcase. And I don't think Ubisoft's just gonna do one on their own. And so that would be how they got out of it, where they would just be like, okay, here, we're gonna show it here. It'll be out in 6 months. There you go. I think that's gonna wrap it up for this week's episode. If you liked it, I need a few things from you. Do us a favor, hit that subscription button on YouTube.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter, follow us on TikTok. Don't just check us out, tell your friends, tell all your nerdy ass friends and family. And do me a personal favor, have an excellent week. And don't forget to check us out on Thursday. We're gonna be live, we're gonna be chilling, we're gonna be watching the show. I don't know if the pre-show I think starts at 6:30. We probably not gonna be here for most of that. We'll try to make the latter half of the pre-show. We'll be here for the whole main show though. So we'll see y'all Thursday. Peace out.
Can't wait to see Jack Foe get announced.